Hi everybody, and welcome to today's virtual wild encounter. My name is Liz, and this here is Maggie. So right before we started, I did take my mask off because it's a little hard to take a mask off with an owl on your glove. But since Maggie isn't a mammal, we're not worried about her getting the coronavirus. And our moderator is about 6 feet away. All right, so as I said, this is Maggie, and Maggie is a barred owl. Now, these guys are some of the most common owls in the whole world. They're the most widely distributed. Now, these guys don't exactly sound like a normal owl, so not the normal who you would think of, but instead they do a scream. It is pretty intimidating when you hear it in the middle of the night. Now, I said these guys are very common, and you can find them around here. And they're very easy to identify. So what you're going to look for is a facial disc. And that is what people mostly look for. So what that does is it actually will funnel the sound right to their ears. So the ears are asymmetrical. And what that means is one's a little bit lower and one is a little bit higher up. And that actually helps them triangulate exactly where their prey is. And these guys can actually hunt in complete darkness. It's really, really cool. One of my favorite features about them, besides that heart facial disc, is their feathers. So on their front feathers, you're not going to be able to tell, but it's serrated at the end, kind of like a knife. And what that does is helps them fly silently so they can sneak up on their prey. So these guys are carnivores, and they're pretty much our opportunistic eaters. So they're going to wait until they see something like a rodent, maybe a frog, a snake. They'll pretty much eat anything that they can catch. They are actually really designed for hunting. So they have really sharp talons that they can stick out in front of them and grab their prey. And they have these beaks that are specially designed for ripping their prey up and eating it. Now, while we're on the subject of what they eat, they actually cannot digest all the parts of their prey. So about once a day, once every couple of days, what they're going to do is they're going to kind of throw up a pellet, and that is just containing all the things that they haven't digested. Now, these guys are mostly nocturnal, so they're going to be up at night or really early and really around dusk. Now, they cannot turn their heads all the way around like a lot of people think, but instead they can spin it almost all the way around. All right, do we have any questions?
What is almost all the way around?
Okay, so if she spun it this way, I would say probably right about here.
Well, we always start off the course of greetings and hello, so Alana says, hello, in all caps and all exclamation points.
Hello! Keep your gestures to a minimum, Whitney.
Nikki says, look at that barn owl. Way to go, Liz and Maggie.
Oh, thank you. Maggie is probably one of my favorite animals to work with here at the zoo. Just don't tell any of the other ones. Now, this is actually a very special wild encounter because Maggie has been doing a ton of training these past, I want to say, 6 months. So she hasn't been out that often. And this is actually her first encounter in a while. So we're on owl time. So if she decides she's done today, hopefully not anytime soon, we'll let her go. But yeah.
Well, let's get those questions as fast as we can. So Alana, who is our big hello, also says just how beautiful Maggie is and how far can she hear?
How far? She can hear pretty far. I don't know the exact mileage. Thank you. But she can hear pretty far, and her eyes are really good as well. So if her eyes are so good that if we lit a candle and went a mile away, she would still be able to see it.
Oh, wow. Amy Weatherford comments, I got woken up by barn owls around 2 a.m. sometimes.
Oh, yeah. These guys like to hide out in trees, barns, exactly why they get that name, barn owl, old buildings. So, yeah, very common around here.
Maggie, you just have so many fans. Our friend Maggie, who's watching, just wants to say how beautiful you are.
She is so beautiful. I have about 1 million pictures of her on my phone. We're in a new place, so we are looking at all the new things.
Alexander would like to know, is Maggie fully grown?
She is. So Maggie is about 20 years old. So she is quite the old lady.
All right. Oh, this is a fun one for you, Liz. How did you get your job to work with animals?
That's a great question. So when I was in college, I kind of switched around a lot, but I knew I wanted to work with animals. And I did my internship at a state park with birds of prey. So mostly eagles and hawks and owls like this. And I didn't really like birds at first, but I grew to love them when I spent 2 summers with them. And then I came here at the zoo working with the budgies. And then I became a full-time zookeeper about a year later. So a lot of school, a lot of volunteering. We are very excited about all the things around this room.
I can't blame her. Thinking of how late they are, Misty'd like to know Misty, what kind of owl she is, but also Alexandra would like to know, does it bother Maggie to be in the light right now?
So she is a barn owl, not a barred owl, like a barn you'd see on a farm. And not really, because she isn't one of our ambassador animals, and she has kind of adjusted to being more awake at night. Awake during the day, sorry.
I like how she kind of like twists her neck back and forth.
That actually helps. I'm not going to do it, but when they're sitting on branches that move a lot, they can keep their head completely still and just move their body like this.
So basically in the club, that's do the owl, do the owl, do the owl.
She probably sees those.
Oh.
We'll just face this way. It's okay.
There are some other fun objects in this room for Maggie to look at, everybody. That's what she's checking out.
Yeah, we're in the biofact room, so there are lots of interesting biofacts she is checking out.
Well, so many more hellos for Maggie. Maggie, everyone just wants to comment just how beautiful you are, and I can't say that I don't disagree, man. You are gorgeous.
You're okay.
We've got Maria saying a beautiful owl all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. How exciting.
Okay, gosh.
And Rachel would like to know, what is her favorite food to eat?
Her favorite food is probably going to be any sort of rodent.
Ooh, okay. And Leslie, does she let anyone hold her?
Nope. So right now she has 2 main trainers, me and 1 other zookeeper. And you actually have to work with them a lot for them to get used to you. So that's also why she hasn't been out and about for encounters or for the virtual wild encounters, because she's been getting used to all of her new keepers.
Okay. Is that her signal that it's time to go?
We'll see if we can regroup for a second.
While we're regrouping, Beverly would like to know, how old is Maggie?
Maggie is 20 years old. Let's see if she wants to hop in and take a break for a second. All right. We'll give her a break for just a minute and see if she wants to hang out.
All right.
But I can take more questions.
That works for me. Does Maggie have any predators?
Ooh, good question. So one of the reasons we have ambassadors here is we can tell people about things that they can do to help animals. And one of their biggest predators are going to be people, actually. So these guys are known to get hit by cars a lot. And when we put rodent poison out, these guys actually will eat those rodents and become poisoned themselves. So that's going to be their main predators, but when they're on the ground, which isn't very often, their other main predators are going to be wolves and foxes.
Okay. Gallimimus on YouTube, a regular on our show, he wants to know, how long has Maggie been at the zoo?
So she's been at the zoo since, I want to say, about 2001. So she came here when she was really young, and when she hatched, she was imprinted on a human, and so she was never going to be able to be released into the wild. So she came here from St. Louis and was pretty much designated to be an ambassador since then.
All right, and she did a great job.
I know, it's her first time out, so I'm really proud of her. In just a second, I'll see if she wants to come back up, but I want to give her a break.
That sounds okay for us. Guests are still pointing with questions, so they don't seem to mind either. Melissa would like to know, how long is their life expectancy?
So in the wild, it's going to be 5 to 10, so not very long, but in captivity or under human care, it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25, so a lot longer.
Okay. Missy would like to know, has Maggie been a mom?
She has not. She lives by herself, and I think she likes it that way.
Brandy and Sidley, age 7, like to know, does she sleep a lot?
So after we do training with her, we usually do it about 2 or 3 times a day, and she kind of tells us when she's done. But normally at the end of her training session, when she's all full and her belly has all kinds of good stuff in it, she will go and take naps. So throughout the day, she does frequently nap, and at nighttime, we do catch her sleeping a lot, which is kind of the opposite what you would think of for an owl.
And of course, in the South, for those watching in Maryland, we call that getting the itis. To eat that good stuff. Kyle would like to know, does Maggie recognize you with her eyes, or do you have another way to let her know that it's you?
She probably most definitely recognizes us, but also our voices probably. Because I know when I go up to her enclosure at first, I'm always like, I say hi to all the birds in order. So I'm always like, Baroness, Maggie. And she always, perks up like, oh, somebody I know is here. But definitely probably visual as well.
Okay. My 4-year-old Isaiah wants to know how big are they going to get, and he's quite the eagle lover.
Eagles are what got me to love pretty much all birds, so I also love eagles. She is going to be as big as she is since she's 20 and kind of an old lady. And actually, depending on where they're found, because they're found pretty much throughout the whole world, they might be slightly different. So some some barn owls in Europe are actually smaller, but she's done growing.
And people are now commenting how they have owls in their backyard. They love that they eat the cicadas from when they come out of the ground.
Yeah, a really good way we can help them as well is a little bit before breeding season, you're going to want to get a box. You can find a blueprint online. They're usually free. And you can put a box together or order one and put it up in your backyard, and you'll actually give them a place to live, and they will help you out by eating rodents and some of those pesky bugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And when is breeding season for owls?
Usually really early spring.
Okay. Carrie would like to know, is she soft?
Her feathers are very soft, and especially the ones on her head. Sometimes she likes to get head scratches, so she'll let us dig her fingers kind of down into her feathers, and underneath there's like a layer of softer feathers, and they're very, very soft.
Philip would like to know, how long is their egg incubation period?
I want to say about 20 to 30 days. All right, let me see if she wants to come back out.
Sounds good. I'm going to look across here so you can other questions on Twitter or YouTube, and swing my way back to Facebook.
You ready?
I know you can't see, but it does look like Liz. She is ready to come back out and say hello.
We'll see.
Oh, way to go, Maggie. Just a beautiful girl.
Oh, yum, yum.
All right, and Carrie would like to know, on average, how many baby owls would they have at one time?
Average is about 3.
Now, no one's asked it, but I'd like to know, do barn owls come in different colors?
They do. So around here, they're going to be more. Can you see me on the screen?
I can't, but I can adjust if you're going to stay standing.
I might stay standing for a minute just in case she wants to go back.
That's okay.
So here they're going to be more white on their chest with lots of speckles. Females usually have a lot more speckles than the boys do. But yeah, they can be, a lot sandier, more white. Some of them are pretty dark brown. It just depends on where you find them. That helps them blend in with the environment a little bit better.
And Tina would like to know, where do they live? You said they're kind of all over the place in the U.S.?
Yep, so they're one of the most widely distributed owls in the world, so pretty much found on every continent except Antarctica. That is crazy, huh? But yeah, here, definitely common. Not really out and about in the city, but more in like a forested area. If there's an old abandoned building or barn, that's where they're going to want to hang out.
Oh, we got a former camper here, Amy Burnwatt and her son. So they met met Maggie at the zoo, and they're so glad to see her. Thanks for tuning in, Burnwatts. We appreciate it.
Oh man, I love our campers so much.
And Brandon just wants to say, hello, Maggie. How are you today?
She's doing pretty good. She hasn't been out and about doing encounters in a while. She's been doing a lot of training. And owls are pretty smart. So with her, what we've been doing is getting her used to going into the crate on her own so she can have some choice and control whether she wants to come out. Us getting used to touching her so we can do more medical behaviors with her. And even eventually, hopefully, doing some free flight. But you got to get all the bases down first. So we've been working on that a lot.
And everyone's just so excited to see her out. Marcia wants to comment. Looks like she's posing for the camera.
Oh, she's always posing.
She is. Those big eyes just looks right at you. Get lost in those eyes. We've got Claire, age 6, who looks like she's just tuning in on what she eats. You want to go in your intro one more time about our basic barn owl facts?
Yep. So this is Maggie, a 20-year-old barn owl. She's been here pretty much her entire life. And these guys are carnivores, so they're going to eat meat. Here at the zoo, we feed them mostly rodents. In the wild, they're going to eat a lot of rodents, but also other things like frogs and snakes, maybe even smaller birds if they can catch them.
That's great. And is she all nocturnal in the wild?
So, pretty much nocturnal. You can actually tell by the color of their eyes. Hers are black, so they are going to be mostly awake at nighttime, hunting, at dusk and dawn. All right, I think Maggie wants to go up.
That's all right. I think we got all our questions anyways. A lot of our comments there are just talking about how beautiful she is, and you got a high list from Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
And if you want to answer Liz just one more question before we say goodbye, since Maggie is,
of course,
it's pretty much done at this point. And would like to know, how is her eyesight compared to other birds?
So owls have amazing eyesight. Earlier, I'm not sure if you were on, but I compared it to if we were to light a candle or a match and we walked a mile away and could see it. That's how good her vision is. The older owls get, and a lot of other animals, they can get problems with cataracts. But here at the zoo we have amazing doctors, so she's constantly getting checkups and she can see just fine.
All right. Well, some notable exceptions before we hop off here. Morgan sent us 50 stars.
Woo! Thank you for the stars.
Brenda says, such a nice face.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And it looks like everyone else is, and Galamimus would like to comment that he is very glad to know she's been healthy and happy here at the zoo for so long.
She is. She's actually very spoiled in my opinion. I know I love all the animals I work with, but owls are probably my absolute favorites, so I know she gets a lot of attention, at least for me. All right, guys, so thank you so much for tuning into this very special Wild Encounter. Maggie's first back in a while. But tune in tomorrow, and we will have another awesome friend that you can come and see. Thank you.